Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the land.
Divines doubly bless you, friend.
Do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
This cannot be. Can it? You have found one of the sources of the undead and sent it back into oblivion. Hope breaks through after 2 years of absolute darkness. Sicil remains under threat, yes, but finally it has been proven even the dead can be vanquished.
The beast looks rotten.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try and screech, woman. The beast speaks, so you have to bring back the feral wall. The cryptic question and engineer of aptitude.
Hey, no, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast's words. You'll only encourage it. You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics, it's not as bad as all that.
The face furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly will be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try and screech, woman. The beast speaks, so you have to bring back the feral maul, have you? The cretin's question crushed her lips and aged an air of aptitude.
Hey, Cal, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast's words. You'll only encourage it. You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured
To
for
think,
life.
Theliron too was behind these horrors all along. A man who treated the wounds I obtained in battle. Sicil is in your debt, Hunter. I, and the Legion too. Brachus Rex is dead, and no one but you could have done this glorious deed.
Putting her down yourself.
I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. By all means. Churches have churchyards, and churchyards attract necromancers. So goes the sinister lot, my legionnaires. I'll grant you that the 2 survivors of that expedition were a bit cowardly. The chances of survival. Lieutenant, now I set, and that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction.
Before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics, it's not as bad as all that.
The face furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly will be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try and screech, woman. The beast speaks, so you have to bring back the feral maul, have you? The cretin's
so.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Various. You'll only encourage it. You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Anything goes down, I'll be disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
Baking like a cake. I'm warm as fresh apple pie. Potent heat.
Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, there it is. It's heating up.
May the goddess guide you through the forest and keep you safe.
Source Hunter, you've made it into the hamlet of Silverglen, I see. Unnerving spot, don't you find? Leandra has fashioned herself a hero here, but the townsfolk don't seem to know the truth behind the conduit, though they call themselves Immaculates. They're thick as trout, if you ask me, and unnaturally obsessed with ancient teachings. I haven't seen Leandra here myself, But she must have put on quite a show of magical mastery to enthrall a crowd of shaggy miners, to have them hop on the bandwagon of a shadowy religion wholly alien to them. Haven't you heard them whisper of the blood? How their eyes shine when they discuss certain stellar stones? Star stones, of course, which drenched in blood become bloodstones and are used in healing rituals. Now, I can see how it could be a fantastic thing to nurse a dying human back to health if all it takes is to sacrifice a toad. But I spy bloodlust in these people's eyes. They all act like they're following a benign goddess that will lead them to paradise. But I'll be a dappled Dalmatian if any of that is true. I've been shadowing the local priest, a man by the name of Loic. I have the feeling he knows more than most in Silverglen, for I followed him in the night when he meets with cloaked strangers, and goblins even. Mangoth, Hyberheim, of strange things I've heard him whisper. Yes, this priest has shady goings-on written all over that smug. But we must start at the beginning, Source Hunter. The White Witch is still at large. If we want to get to the true heart of Leandra's doings, we must start with her sister. And she's far likelier to be in her cabin. The advantage of being a puss, my friend, is that one can pussyfoot. A white-haired wizard draws it. Not that I'm not extra wary of these bloodsuckers, though. There's a conspicuous absence of pets in this eerie little... The Immaculate's presence here is highly disconcerting. But we mustn't lose sight of our mission, Source Hunter. The White Witch resides somewhere in the wilds of the surrounding forest, and we...
The world is not immaculate as yet, friend. Be wary. Be vigilant.
Will I read the words of the goddess? Let me spill blood
Blessed
with
be the
old
goddess,
Holy
and
One.
blessed be the conduit.
Welcome be, O seeking souls, to this holy house of Immaculates. I am Loic, enlightened one among Immaculates, spokesman for the Holy Conduit, as she is spokesman for the goddess herself. Hers is the blood. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for such is her mercy, that we may all become part of the sacred soul. And you too, Seeker, could become one such part. The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in blood. Truly, though, she is quite beyond your concern, O wanderings. The goddess is the light and life of all. Corrupt is the world that generations of men and beasts have left behind, but immaculate it may be once more. Cleanse the few, the proud, the enlightened, theirs will be her kingdom. When red has run until no red is left, you find yourself in the goddess's temple. Therefore it follows she wants you to take the true path. So here, have this hallowed tome, read it, absorb the wisdom within, then find the second part and do with it the same. If an immaculate you want to be, do you hold it to be true, O Seeker, that you are ready to be tested? A most sacred trio of queries shall I put, but your unpreparedness disappoints me. But
diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
And behold, said the goddess, the blood.
Hi there, cutie pie.
Farma Malbenita, a source hunter in Silverglen. I have traveled mile on top of mile to find help, and now help has, how you say, appeared from skinny vapors. My story? Well, this is no small tale. I believe Lawrence, the leader of mining guild, tell my husband and many of other workers to mine deadly ore called tenebrium. Lawrence knew that this ore caused rot. Charming name, no? Yet ordered the miners to continue. Many men, my Ben among them, become the sickness. And now they, how you say, kick down the bucket. But the sickness, my son Sebi and I travel from our home to find truth. But this has proven not so easy. My sweet little Pomargo Vizago, my darling Ben, we got along like, how you say, peas and ferrets. But here there is work, very well paid, in mines, clearing special rock from silver mine. So he leaves Sebi and we wait with hearts like stones for some months. And one day we see familiar figure moving with strange steps on path toward cottage. We run to meet him and take him into our arms, but he collapsed at our touch. We help him inside and set him to rest. But he was in terrible condition. Each hour he grow worse, rot so fast we hardly recognize him after 2 short days. When his father die, Sebi become restless. Being of the age, he join army and go straight to front line. Though I was nearly old woman, there we saw special legionnaire using strange weapon. And this legionnaire soon come to my tent with the same disease that killed I come to Silverglen to discover truth. And here I find Lawrence, that arrogant man, conducts his business without apologize to any. Exactly this. Please, Source Hunter, you must help me prove that Lawrence made his workers to mine deadly tenebrium. For your help, I offer blessing from my homeland. Sevi translation is difficult, but it means something like, if you fail, I will plant cherry tree and haunt your grandbaby beneath branches. Good luck. I will do my best to give answers, Source Hunter. I have not found scrap of civilization among these apes. Sebi longs for heaping plate of my famous sire mule, but the local fairs support no fine food. Unless, as for neighbors, well, those cultists would rather Mezal Moxie strike him down, the murderer. I have one goal in Silverglen, to make him share in the suffering he caused. I am certain he has gained from making those miners take the tenebrium. Now I have only to prove it. Nothing natural could cause such terrible disease at mere touch. If you ask me, I say dark magic, maybe even source at its root. That foul thing. A terrible disease. It transforms flesh of living into flesh of corpse, while infected person still lives. Arms grow black and heavy, legs grow black and heavy, hair rough.
Hello and welcome to our shop. I am the son of the proprietor, Nadia. Please let us know how we can help you. You've probably noticed that my mother Nadia and I aren't from around here. Ma's a bit intense, to be sure. Setting her, my father was a good man.
So that item interests you, yes? I can let you have it for very reasonable price indeed.
With its blood, better thy... The goddess is the word. Through the then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. Do you hold it to be true? Blessed be your willing spirit. Premise the first. In honor of the goddess, that which was stellar must become sanguine. Correct?
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Correct.
Agreed. That is correct.
Premise the second. The blood of the greater should be used in service of the lesser, so that balance may be achieved. Correct?
Only one.
Incorrect.
Yes, that is incorrect.
Premise the third. Only those who have partaken in the spilling of blood and thereby created the stone that lives, the stone...
Correct.
Agreed. That is correct.
Most gratifying. Oh yes, most exemplary indeed. You have understood the words of the goddess, and I deem you worthy of her true test, of the true trial that shall make you an immaculate. We are the conduit. The goddess is the few. I am to become an immaculate. You must experience both the goddess's bane and her boon. Leave Silverglen and take the western path. Follow it to where the winds howl and a great skull looms within the rocks. There you will find it, the hollow and the true trial within. Immaculate guards bar the way, but tell them you have my blessing and they shall let you pass. But take utmost care. The road is beset with horrors, and your mettle will be truly tested before you've even set foot within the goddess's trial. I shall await you in the Chamber of Blood.
These goblins are worse than the trolls. Half as done, twice as mean.
At least they don't have that distinct underside of a bridge aroma.
Better that than reeking of fresh blood.
Man, as many as it takes.
We haven't enough men among us to take on even a few of them, sir.
Are you deaf? I said I want those goblins out! Make it happen, even if you have to spear Drexus yourself. Ooh.
Damon Daemonium. I'll find you yet. Good. No use.
A source hunter! My liege, I am at your disposal. I am Lawrence, the representative of the mining guild responsible for operations in Silverglen. Please, valiant hunter, let us know how we can assist you. Oh, I am no one special. Merely a humble servant of the guild, and shepherd to my only cause for complaint, your grace, are these awful goblins. They're starving us out, refusing even a single honest miner his right to work. Perhaps my most upright highness, you might be able to help. You must forgive me if I become somewhat overcome when discussing it, my liege. To think how I've been betrayed. To think how the humble miners of Silverglen invited a tribe of goblins to assist us in clearing the tenebrium from our mine, you see. The leader of the troop, a certain spitting Satan named Drexis, promised to clear the tenebrium and be gone. When the job was done, though, he and his band of totem-brained fiends refused to vacate. They've kept close guard of the bridges to the mine since. These goblins followed Drexis like lemmings, your grace. And if only I could undo the traitor, they'd slither back to the swamp they crawled from. Drexis's head on my mantle would save countless miners from a slow starvation, my liege. What please, your grace, I am completely at your disposal. Those brutes! I invited them here to save our valued miners from the ill effects of clearing tenebrium, and those interlopers met my invitation with a... They haven't allowed a single human miner past them in months. And meanwhile, my men have all but forgotten their vocation and turned instead to their damned religion. Yes, a dreadful business, that. I've been fortunate enough to avoid the sickness so far, my liege, but my heart truly breaks for the families of the... You see, my liege, when a miner has been overlong exposed to tenebrium, he begins showing certain symptoms. Gangrene about the extremities, fatigue, malaise. At first we attributed, had we known then what we've since discovered, we never would have continued operations. But alas, mistakes were made, and those we lost can never be brought back, no matter what that crap, my liege. You ought not to concern yourself with the fraudulent leader of a crackpot cult. Really, the whole affair is an utter embarrassment. Some insane huckster calling herself the conduit of the goddess made her way to Silverglen at the height of the rot's hold on our miners. When by magic or illusion she managed to cure a handful of them of the affliction, every last one of the bunch began speaking of her as though she were some messiah. Now most of the town is... Fortunately for her, she disappeared shortly after her little trick. Or I would have thrown her into prison and swallowed the key myself. Imagine, hip useless stuff, my liege. Worse than common dirt. But 10 times as difficult to extract and infinitely more dangerous. If only we'd known in advance the terrible effect rot would have, we would have stopped trying to... Ah, yes. Ben. Of course, one of our many noble miners, your grace. A smallish man. I believe he's around here somewhere, isn't he? Enough to know the whole institution has been a blight on productivity. With the blessings of the conduit to replace a sense of a job well done, the miners care hardly at all for getting the mines back in good working order. Preposterous! What does that foreigner know about the affairs of Silverglen? You do best to do as I do, my liege, and turn a deaf ear to her insane act.
I don't mean to make trouble where there ain't any, comrade, but in my years of hunting source, I learned that anyone so eager to climb into your lap after a moment's meeting is hiding something. I'm not saying this Lawrence character is involved in sorcery, but it wouldn't exactly surprise me a lick to find out he knows more than he's letting on. Warms my heart to picture him squirming about plain as day with 3 seasoned source hunters on his tail. Nowhere to hide.
Source hunter, are you? What brings you to this neck of the woods? The goblins? The orcs? The cult? Or the whole pretty bouquet?
No, I could take you on a wild ride if you let me.
Do you believe in the gods, baby? 'Cause you're the answer to all my prayers.
Don't be surprised if you hear more than a few unkind words about yours truly around town. An overseer's got to enforce his share of... I'm finished with this one pony rodeo, though. I did my best by these roughnecks. And now it's time for old Brandon to take a...
Let's hear the details.
Come hither, sweetheart.
I must say, I'm also intrigued.
Oh, I knew a source hunter'd perk up at the sound of a challenge. Between you and me, the Troll King's sitting on a piece of treasure of more value than even he knows. A metal called tenebrium that can fetch a prettier sum than its weight in gold. I intend to lift it, sell it, and live out the rest of me days in comfort. The devil's in the details, though, and I haven't managed to find a way to access the King's Cave, much less make off with the stuff without being noticed. But you're a source hunter. You can sniff out any point of mystery. So let's make a deal, You find the tenebrium and bring it to me, and I'll deliver you a few pieces of info. I wouldn't wish the wrath on me worst enemy, though. So let me give you a little something to contain the tenebrium bars. It's lined with the fragments of a special stone that keeps rats' ill effects at bay.
For every time you brighten my day.
Hi there,
Apart from Gungir's stature and incurable case of the uglies, he's not so different from a parakeet. Got a brain the size of a pea and a fervent passion for all things bright and shiny. The nutty oaf sits on a river of silver beneath these mines, but leases it to the mining company for a fraction of its worth in gold. He'd rather put those hefty minions of his on toll duty than mine these hills. I can't be certain myself where his cave is located, but at least one of those oaf lackeys of his must know where to look. They've got to do something with all the gold they've gathered in the course of guarding those damn bridges, haven't they?
Do you believe in the
I'm no
gods,
man
baby?
to refuse a... That circus rolled into town shortly after the tenebrium was discovered. Some freak woman with a freak gemstone managed to cure rot by some strange magic and a strange sort of substance discovered here around 2 years ago, and folks have been clamouring to get their paws on the rancid stuff ever since. Rot? Huh, you're a curious sort of fella, aren't you? Ask around. Half the men here have a brother who died from it. The other half are... Lardon's actually invited those bug-eyed creeps here himself. The miners were dropping like flies, and goblins had more of a natural tolerance for the work. Little did we know they'd overrun the place in a matter of months. I remember him well. Decent man, strong-backed, but something of a funny accent, no? He managed to leave Silverglen alive, but as I recall, the symptoms of wrath were already upon him.
Well, kick my cap and call me Susan.
Look at you, sugar. Oh, I could take you on a ride neither of us would soon forget.
It may well prove to be of incalculable value to us. And us, unfortunately, still includes you.
Oh, sugar, that's a story for another day, ain't it? Speaking of, yours and mine has hardly begun. What say we get better acquainted upstairs? I've got all kinds of, Oh, go right ahead, sweetheart. Darling, I don't hardly recognise this place no more. Everything's changed since those silly Immaculates came into vogue. The miners, they used to spend their last penny on a backwards glance from yours truly. But now, they just stand around and praise the so-called goddess all day long. I've no idea who she is, but apparently she gets her kicks from having blood sprayed all over her. Now, I knew a girl once who was into that kind of stuff. Her clients used to call her goddess and mistress too, but there was precious little divine about her. Why don't you stay a while, darling?
How's business for you, anyway?
I just know I could
Swell
take you on a
enough, swell
wild
enough.
ride if
Would
you
be
let
better
me.
if you'd glance in my direction, though.
Truth is, I'm a wee bit short at the moment, waiting for a particular plan.
If I said you had a great body, would you hold it against me? Me? I'm Ramon! I may not be a genie, but rub me right and I'll make your dreams come true. No questions, please. Ramon does not ponder. He does not wonder.
Fresh blood?
Tell me, sweetie, do you have sunburn, or are you always this hot?
Why don't you stay a while, darling? I just know I could take you on a wild ride.
Oh, you startled me. Let me compose myself. Hello, stranger. How can I help? Oh, me? Oh, I'm just a waitress around here, as you can see. My husband, Blosius, is a legionnaire, currently staying...
You dare disturb my rumination? It must be that you can hardly wait to purchase an ingredient or two for a very urgent recipe. I'll forgive this imposition if you'll make me a generous offer.
Business is booming year-round now that the mines are closed. Better to spend a day with a pint than a pickaxe. Isn't that so?
Quite a fine skeleton beneath that hide of yours, isn't there? Yes, a lovely, sturdy thing. I bet it'll last 100 generations if treated properly.